Okay, so let me get this straight. So now, and I'm a little late to the party by a few hours. Sorry, I've got things I'm doing outside of doing MMA commentary. So when I bounce back and forth, by the time I post one of these, like 3 or 4 or 5 other news updates comes out from like 5 different sources. And I think that's the thing about MMA media is it's such murky waters. It's hard to tell what's actually happening until the fights have been announced on the pay-per-view. It's like with the Ian Gary MVP situation, it was hinted at for a while, and we were all, like the entire fight community was talking about it, but eventually it did happen. The same thing with all the tweets between Islam Makhachev tweeting at Michael Chandler about the dog that was super loyal to its owner, and then Chandler saying he was offered the title shot. Obviously, I really don't think that it would be smart on Michael Chandler's part to just kind of like slander or recklessly lie about his his offers of the company, because that might reflect really badly on him from a legal standpoint. But this is how these things go, is where you see these little, what I call, micro dramas going on, where they start having these little back and forths. And now Islam's responding saying, oh, now you are allegedly, like you're I'm saying this allegedly because I don't know if this is all theater or whatnot. But he says he's an unreliable opponent. I need a real opponent, stuff like that. I just don't know if that makes sense, because Chandler's been waiting for the McGregor fight for how long at this point? And and this is where I'm going to say this whole thing's just a theory. I don't know anything for sure. Just a disclaimer, though. It's like, this is just my honest gut feeling opinion. I don't know anything about what's going on in the back of the UFC. UFC has nothing to do with me. This is all just an outside speculation, but this could just be 5D chess marketing. I could be wrong. Who knows? We'll have to see what Islam Makhachev's next fight is, but I'm going to give Conor McGregor benefit of the doubt on this one time with the broken toe, because that does look like a really convincing picture, unless it was somehow photoshopped. I doubt it, though. But if he pulls out from the fight one more time for whatever reasons whatsoever, I think Michael Chandler should move on to something else, or at least go for the lightweight title or something else, because he's lost so much time being loyal to this Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler thing. Although you want to say that there's a big financial incentive business-wise to fight Conor McGregor, I'm going to go out on a limb and say maybe Conor's not as huge of a draw as he used to be. He's still quite a big a draw. That's something that's going in that way. But I think the McGregor aura has kind of dwindled a lot. Now, a lot of the MMA fan base is starting to see the cracks and everything like that. But also, when Islam tweets things like, you're an unreliable opponent, I don't think that he's being unreliable, because he has dedicated himself fully to the Ultimate Fighter season and to training for this McGregor fight. You look at the dude's social media and workouts, all that's training for Conor McGregor. And he's training to crack one over McGregor. And seeing Michael Chandler in his last fight against Dustin Poirier, yeah, he ultimately lost. But how many times throughout that fight were we biting our nails for Dustin Poirier, where we thought, oh man, Chandler's going to be getting this done, and then making another call out or something like that. I mean, Chandler is even in his sloppier fights, he's a threat. Now, do I think he's a threat to Islam? Maybe not on the feet. Now, in the wrestling standing, like I said, I've said this before, I'm still standing by this 100%. An NCAA wrestler versus the type of wrestler that Islam Makhachev is, that's a very compelling matchup, to where Islam's going to have to dig deeper to win that fight than I would understand. Maybe not. Maybe it might be like Islam Makhachev versus Volkanovski 2, where he just gets a head kick and closes the show early. But while Arman Sarukian, the rightful number one contender, is over, who's next? Is Charles Oliveira going to step in to fight Islam a second time? I mean, they could do that, but I honestly think for Islam to call Michael Chandler unreliable, I feel like that's just trying to drum up more of a storyline, drum up more drama, to the point where I think they know McGregor versus Chandler might not happen, and if it doesn't, I think that would be a really good fight just for the fans. Yes, is it going to be the unearned title shot? But wasn't Michael Chandler's first title shot right after getting one win over Dan Hooker? And he like skipped the line of the top 5 to face Oliveira for the belt. Now we're worried about unearned title shots. There's a lot of people who get skyrocketed into title shots. Look at Tony Ferguson's career. How many times did that guy deserve a title shot? The one thing I'm going to be honest, hot take about the UFC, title shot earning doesn't mean jack squat. And I'm starting to see where this is going, because if Michael Chandler is not reliable to anyone right now, he's definitely not reliable to Islam Makhachev. And, maybe it is, how dare you spread that rumor, but that's actually a really good selling point for a fight. Now, maybe Islam's being sincere. Maybe he's tweeting it all at face value, but we've seen the guy's wit before in trash talk. We've seen how this guy plays things, and I think he might actually be a better mental breakdowner than, I know that's not a word, but than Conor McGregor. And I think that we could actually see the stars aligning. Now, again, like I said, all this is just my thoughts, my opinions. We're not going to know this until like 3 months from now, and we see something added to the sphere in UFC. But we could see, what I'm going to have to look at is Islam Makhachev going to be training a lot over the past couple months? We'll see. We'll see how hard he's training for his next opponent, because if he knows Arman Tsarukyan is going to be out for 9 months and he at least wants to stay in shape for someone, now's the time where he's going to want to get going. So I think time's really going to tell if what's sincere about this, but I'm really watching the hips right now on this one. What I mean by that is I'm seeing what all of these language movements from the media frenzy go, and I'm just expecting a certain scenario to play out. If it doesn't play out fair enough, then my theory's wrong, because all it is a theory. But, man, I either think that Conor's going to get one more shot to fight Chandler, and if not, I really feel like Islam behind the scenes might actually, behind all the calling Michael Chandler an unreliable opponent and how he needs a real opponent, what if Michael Chandler says, I'll show you a real opponent, and they talk themselves into this? I know the last fight with Poirier, Chandler was saying things like, hey, you called me a mother. I'm not going to say it on the thing. I want to keep it a little bit more PG over here. But I could kind of see where I think this is going. But what are your thoughts? Do you think that this is 5D chess on the marketing standpoint of the UFC because they know that there's a chance that Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler may never happen? Or do you think Islam's sincere, and why waste his time? Because if he's got nothing left to lose against the style, he would want another fight to stay active and keep his winning streak going, adding another fight to his resume. And, honestly, I'm a little wanting to believe my own theory right now at this point, because I think although Chandler has fallen short against the top, even though he's come close to finishing a lot of them, you cannot tell me that he has not been dedicated to the companies that he has fought for and bled for. And you know what? He does remember one thing. He's doing everything for us fans. So you got to remember that's where his low fight IQ is coming from. It's because he wants to entertain us. He is looking out for us. You know who used to look out for us? Conor McGregor. He always used to show up, and it was because he cared about the fans, cared about giving them a show. But now we're seeing this 180 flip where Michael Chandler wants to give us a show. So I think no matter what, we got to allow him to have a show. If you want to say, he's fallen short against Oliveira, who he almost finished in the first round. Justin Gaethje, he was giving him a little bit of trouble in the first round. Poirier, he was giving him a lot of trouble the 3 rounds until he got caught with that rear naked choke. But I do think he's done enough to become at least a worthy contender, or at least have a second title shot, especially when he's been led on and had this many years of his career. It's been 2 years since Michael Chandler's fought, and Conor McGregor has really done this to him. And if this is just a troll on McGregor's part, I don't know. But that's like the thing. I keep saying, I don't know, but I'm just looking at the signs and where this is going. But we'll see this in time. What are your thoughts? Peace out. Michael Chandler, whether you love him or hate him, or you think something about him, he has been there for us. So as a fan, I hope to, at least cheer for him that maybe this is not all a lie or he's not getting turned down right at this point. If the UFC really did offer him this fight, he should take it. I think he's more than earned it with his devotion. And you know what? When I see the Ultimate Fighter thing, if you watch that show where he talks about, Conor McGregor showing up to the sport for himself, where he's actually working, you got to look at where Chandler's coaching went in versus where Conor's coaching went in. Chandler definitely showed up for not just the fans, but he also showed up for every young and, well, not young because he took the rematch people, the people who were originally written off by the UFC. But he understood where they were coming from, and he understood that these guys are not on my level. Let's bring them closer to my level so they could get a start. So, also it's like one last thing, no matter what's true or what's going on, Michael Chandler, I just want to say, man, thank you for your dedication to the UFC sport. It's been very surreal, and I appreciate you fully. Peace out.